my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion. No chains can hold us, we break through like oceans. Educate, elevate, that's our devotion.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. Still pushing through the struggle, can't keep us down. Voices loud from the underground to every town. Shades of excellence, ain't no hiding, won't back down. From the roots to the US, in the city's crown. Stay shining bright despite the hate they lay. Our culture's fire burns strong night and day. Black forever, the spirit won't decay. Raise the banner high, cause we here to stay. Sally, stay shine, but blue, it'll never die, dog, so I cry, Sally. Angel, you command, your thoughts are demands, and it's turn Sally. I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black.
Because I'm black and I'm back. All right, beloveds, we are back in the building. How's everybody doing? Let's get ready to get into it. Everybody hit that like button. All right, Claudette, we the people. Reggie is in here. All right, Buckhorse DC, Deronda. All right, let's get into it, Leon. All right, so everybody hit that like button. Please like, share, subscribe. Nessa G is in virtual building. Deronda. All right, LL is here. Okay, let's get into it. Alice, Barillas is here. Love Christy, DJ Big Six. All right. Now, with that all being said, hey, Danielle. With that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Everybody hit the like button. Thank you in advance. Hey, Desmond. All right. Queen Shay is in the building. Okay, so now before we get started, let's have a brief word from our sponsors, or my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, first things first, let's talk about Trump, because do you all remember this morning before I cursed everybody out and went on a whole rant Okay, my apologies for going in on some of y'all. I apologize for cursing you all out. Y'all know I love you. But anywho, with that all being said, Desmond said, everyone be on your best behavior for the queen. Honey, you should be telling the queen to be on her best behavior after I went in this morning. Okay, but so anyway, so remember this morning, hey Laverne, when I was when I was talking about Trump and how he supposedly ran real quick and he said that he called the prosecutor and he told everything about Epstein and all of that. They basically tried to make it sound as though Trump was the one who initiated the investigation or something. You all know what I'm saying? But now here's the story. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it. Because Trump's lies are all just unraveling at the seams. And then we have to talk about Pam Bondi, how she got in that hearing and just tried to flip the script or just tried to go off into another thing, talking about the economy and all that. Girl, this isn't about the economy. This is about you covering for PDF files. All right, please pay attention.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump's narrative around Jeffrey Epstein has completely fallen apart this evening. The White House, the president, those around them have been championing this new document that was released over the past 24 hours, which suggests that Donald Trump called the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in the mid-2000s and said that Jeffrey Epstein essentially was a horrible person. Everyone knew what he was up to, the evil things, that Maxwell was Epstein's operative, that she was evil. And while MAGA ran with it, they said that this was Donald Trump essentially turning Epstein in, turning Maxwell in, notifying authorities. Here's the problem. Tonight we learned from Julie K. Brown that, well, the truth is, Donald Trump didn't speak with investigators until after the investigation was already public, after Epstein was already arrested. So he waited until after the arrest happened to call investigators, which means Trump knew, allegedly, of all the horrific things or some of the horrific things that Epstein was up to, called Maxwell evil, said that she was Epstein's operative, didn't say that until after the arrest. That completely blows up the entire narrative coming out of this White House. And it's important that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is asked about it. Spread the word.
Okay, I mean, sit down somewhere. They really tried it, and the foolish MAGA minions just won't stop. Okay, they were so thrilled, talking about how do y'all leftists feel now? Trump was the one. I'm like, sit down somewhere, honey. Trump is the same as everybody else on that list, okay, who's been accused. Okay? Let's not act like this man is innocent, completely delusional morons. Now, let's go to Blondie here, because her and Representative Tom Massey darn near got into a fight. Okay, they almost got into a boxing dispute, honey. Let's get into it at this hearing. Everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. DJ Big Six said Trump is the devil. Why did you have to say it in that accent? And then you called him chump. That's what he is. Absolutely. Okay.
Respond very briefly to her statement.
Well, I think we can do that
Okay.
probably on
Next.
one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see.
Exactly. And this is supposed to be the Epstein Transparency Act. Okay, they are absolutely covering up things. Okay, and then they lied and said there were no co-conspirators, but then they have a whole list of co-conspirators. Make it all make sense. Okay, Barilla said, ain't Massey a Republican? Yes, beloved, he is. A better Republican than Trump and his minions.
Because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
And we invited you in.
Gentlemen.
Let me tell you all something about this BITCH. Okay, Pam Bondi. All right, I want y'all to pay attention. Do you all know that this witch has 2 passports? I'm going to show you in a minute, and I can't wait to show you where the other passport's from. Okay? We're going to get into it. This woman should be tried for treason, her and Trump. Period.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician. You need to
I want you to watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked 2 other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this is bigger than Watergate.
When I don't answer a question the way
this goes over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
You didn't answer the question.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
I would,
order.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering. The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at them.
Without objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to,
I'm
going to recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
I'm going to stop right there because I want to also go to when she was being questioned by little Miss Crockett. Okay, Jasmine Crockett. So let's get into it. And Reggie, you said you bet that her passport. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm going to pull that up on the screen right now. Yeah, that's exactly where she has a passport from. Hold on. Now, I'm sorry, but since when is it okay for the United States, politicians, president, all of that, to have more loyalty to a foreign land than their own? Trump should be tried for treason immediately. Okay? Y'all see this? Yeah, that's her second passport. I want y'all to pay attention. Look at it. Y'all see that? Who is her allegiance really to? I think we all know her and Trump. You read that. Okay? Yeah, nationality Israeli. Okay? I'm sorry. Make it all make sense. And see, that's why y'all need to be concerned. Okay? Because y'all don't even know what's about to go down, honey. Y'all don't even know. Now, with that all been said, let me go to this exchange between her and Jasmine Crockett. Now, here's the thing. Actually, that may look like it's kind of AI. I don't know if it is or not. But at the end of the day, that is who her allegiance is to, period. Her and Trump's. Whether that's a real passport or a fake one.
Please recognize.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to introduce into the record the research that Representative Kamlager-Dove and I referenced concerning the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism, which the Department of Justice scrubbed from its website in September.
Without objection, the gentlelady from
Thank
Texas
you.
is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Ballant, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children.
Wrong.
Right or wrong, killing random citizens.
Definitely wrong.
Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States.
Definitely wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I probably never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried, but typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address the survivors because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughing stock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ, as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going. My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on. And frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration. In the written testimony of this witness, of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this administration, quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be good at your job. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists. In fact, we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested, we know that there were homes of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to track ISIS activities. But let's circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps, because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, this is a good one. Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history, an attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted. You know, so what we talking about? Convict Texas, some of these perpetrators homicide. That rape these women that are sitting behind you, that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Time belongs Texas. To the gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back to make up for the yelling? Thank you. General, did you have anything further to say?
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted for kidnapping, rape. Khalid Khan from Afghanistan. That's why they want to talk about Epstein and not what's happening in their own states.
Thank you, General, and thank you for being here. And This has been quite a spectacle to observe today. I think it's sad. I ran for Congress because I thought we had serious problems in this country we wanted to try to fix together. And
Did y'all hear that? Okay, she didn't ask her not one question, and I'm so glad she didn't. Okay, I am so glad she didn't ask her a darn thing, because first of all, she's just a liar who lies. Now, with that all being said, really quick, let's go to these two clips about ICE. Now I want y'all to hear this, and then we're going to get into our Black History Month special. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Because what you mean an ICE agent's body camera magically or coincidentally malfunctions as the last thing we hear and see this motherfucker say to a child is open your mouth. Nah, no.
Now, did y'all hear that? Did you all hear that? There's videos all over TikTok where they claim that this ICE agent told a child to open your mouth, and then all of a sudden his camera cuts off. Now, I find that very interesting, especially since we know that some of the ICE agents have allegedly been convicted of heinous, nefarious crimes, okay, against people, women and children to be included. Okay, did y'all hear it? All nefarious. Yeah, open your mouth. What is he telling the child that for? For what? These devils.
You too. God bless. Let these people go to church. Let these people serve the Lord and worship. Let people let the people.
I guarantee you, you're not gonna like the outcome. Go home to your children. It's Sunday.
Yeah, go exactly. Let people go to church.
You did not learn from what just happened. Go home to
Learn
your
what?
kids.
I have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide.
Hey, thanks for not trying to run us over, bud.
But I would not do that. I'm peaceful.
I like your hat.
I'm going to go to church. I'm going to worship the Lord. I suggest you guys do the same. I serve the Lord, not a draft dodging coward. I can't believe you take orders from a draft dodger.
These people are lost. They're morally bankrupt, and they're likely broke. This is who they are sending.
You too. God bless. Let these people go to church. Let these people serve.
I mean, literally just harassing people anywhere and everywhere. Okay? Oh, so crazy. So now, with that all being said, let's talk about the Morris Ford Bridge lynching. Okay? Deronda talking about we need Wiggs' gavel for this one. We sure did need one for that, okay? We absolutely did. Now, with that all being said, let's get into it. On July 11th, Roger Malcolm was arrested after allegedly stabbing a white farmer named Barnett Hester during a fight. Then 2 weeks later, J. Lloyd Harrison, the white landowner for whom the Malcolms and the Dorseys sharecropped, drove Mrs. Malcolm and the Dorseys to the jail to post a $600 bond. Now, on their way back to the jail, or on their way back to the farm, the car was stopped by a mob of 30 armed, unmasked men, and they were all white. They seized Mr. Malcolm and Mr. Dorsey and tied them to a large oak tree. Mrs. Malcolm recognized members of the mob, and when she called on them by name to spare her husband, the mob seized her and Mrs. Dorsey. Mr. Harrison watched as the white men shot all 4 people 60 times at close range. He later claimed that he could not identify any members of the mob. I want y'all to pay attention. And this has never been solved, by the way. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share.
Fires already burning in rural Walton County, Georgia.
I was working at the ice house, and some white people come there. They had guns, It had ropes. It had all those things down there, and they was in there showing how to make a loop on the rope or hang a person.
On the afternoon of July 25th, 1946, Lloyd Harrison, a white man, was driving two black men and their wives home from Monroe, Georgia. Harrison had just bailed one of the black men out of jail, Roger Malcolm, who had just been arrested for assaulting his white landlord. The other black man in the car was Malcolm's brother-in-law, George Dorsey.
George came home from the Army in 45, and I met him way down the road down there and walked him all the way home.
Now, this is the man who was a little boy when this happened. He was the 10-year-old that saw the whole thing.
And he was telling me about being in the Army. He had some medals on. He was real proud of that.
At sunset on July 25th, 10-year-old Clinton Adams and a friend were playing by the river at Moore's Ford Bridge.
We seen Mr. Laura Harrison drove a big old black car. Seen him go down the road. And didn't think nothing about it. About one car, Dave might go through there.
And when he got along this spot here, he didn't have access to the bridge because they had a car blocking the bridge. One car came up from behind. The mob, about 15 or 20 armed white men, came out of the woods and out of the cars that was parked down here.
We seen them down there fighting with some white men. We didn't know what was going on at the time being, so we just laid down right side the field there, right on the edge of it. And then we seen it was Klans, because we knew some of them. And we said, they're going to whoop them. Well, that's what the Klan done, whoop people, you know. And it doesn't matter whether you're black or white. They take an oath and whoop your butt, you're gonna get one. And they tied up George's hands.
And once they started into the wooded area with them, Dorothy, from what Laura Harrison said, yelled out, "Don't kill him," and she called the name of one of the people that she recognized. Then the order was given to go back to the car and get the two young black ladies that was in the car.
And they pushed and shoved them and knocked them around. And all at once, these four guys, they just come up there and they pull guns and bang. And everything went into slow motion to me. And they started shooting. People standing up over them, shooting down on them. People were shooting in the trees. Bullet was going every which way. They was on the ground. And I was shaking so bad till I couldn't move. I couldn't stay on the ground. I was just shaking that bad. And then when the shooting stopped, everything went silent. Nothing. Just quiet. And I stood up. And when I stood up, I was just like, right there. And George, I knew him. I looked at him closest, I reckon, because he was my good buddy. And you could see the smoke and the air bubbling out, and their faces were just a mess. I mean, it was literally shot to pieces.
Malcolm and Dorsey's wives were both pregnant.
Dorothy was between 7 and 8 months pregnant. May was around 3 months pregnant. So we lost 6 lives at Moore's Ford that day.
I went over there and they were lying there and laying around, and I picked up a rope. I was a 22-year-old kid. And this man next to him said, "Son, let me have that." He jerked it out of my hand. And of course, I gave it to him. But I looked over and had a pool of blood there and picked up a tooth and brought it back home and gave it to a friend of mine, and she put it on a good luck charm.
My partner and I covered the autopsy and we stood and watched this rather awesome experience where they had to use an axe to open up the chest, where they had to use these prongs to remove slugs and pellets from the body.
I went down to the funeral home and looked at them, and that was one of the wrong things I shouldn't have never done. They just swole up and beat up. It was just awful.
We obtained no help from the sheriff's department. We received no help from the local police department.
And you know why they didn't receive any help from the sheriff or the local police? Because they were likely in on it. This happened in 1946.
2 or 3 days later, the sheriff was asking Mama questions about it, and I was just sitting on the porch. And I said, I know who done it. Big mouth me on, let him know right quick. And he said, come here, boy. So I went over to him. And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I can put some of these people in jail, but I can't put all of them. And if they found out you know what you know, it could come back on you, your mama, your sister, or your brother. And he said, the best thing you can ever do is never mention this again.
Rumors spread through the white community that 18-year-old Lamar Howard has told the police he had seen a mob gather at the ice house before the killings.
Next day, I went back to the ice house, and these two white fellas asked me, well, what'd you tell them? I didn't tell them nothing because I didn't know nothing to tell them. And then they kept on questioning. I know you told. What did you tell them? You better tell me. If you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you. And he pulled the hammer back on that gun and pointed right in my face, about this close to you. And that bear looked like it was that big. But I still didn't tell him anything. I said, I don't know nothing. I can't tell you. And then they tried everything they could around there. Then one told the other one, he said, oh, they let him go home. He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. He said, now I'm gonna tell you, you go home, you don't stop talking to nobody, and don't do anything. You go straight home. I have had nightmares. I would go to bed at night. I'd be scared somebody would come up there and get me. I even changed my name from Lamar Howard to Lamar Jones for a long time.
Although Loy Harrison was the FBI's prime suspect in the killings, no one was ever charged, let alone tried and convicted for the murders.
And I asked him, I said, Mr. Loy, I said, why did them people kill George and Doris? He said, well, before George went to the service, he was a pretty good, but after he got out, he thought he was as good as any white man.
Did y'all hear that? He said when he was a pretty good N-word, but after he got out of the service, he thought he was as good as any white man. So that's why y'all killed him. And oh, by the way, the reason that he stabbed the guy that he got into it with That was because it was his landlord. The reason he stabbed him in the first place is because they got into a fight because Malcolm felt like the landlord had been messing with his wife. Okay, y'all know how they used to do black women back then. They wouldn't take no for an answer. And then if they R-worded you, well, you're not going to get any justice. And if you try to fight back and injured or hurt them or whatever, you're going straight to prison. So yeah, he was defending his wife as he should. Okay, so anyway, then some years ago, they said there was some new evidence, but nothing ever came of it. Let's go to the footage.
Exclusive. We are investigating Georgia's most gruesome cold cases, and we are the only station in Atlanta with their own crime scene investigator.
And CBS 46's Karen Greer has more on tonight's CSI Atlanta, the Moores Ford lynching.
These bullets never disintegrate. It's a fact that could finally lead to answers in one of Georgia's oldest and most gruesome hate crimes, the lynchings at the Moores Ford Bridge.
Stab a white man.
It's a secret many members of an angry white mob took to their grave. America's last mass lynching. 4 black sharecroppers and friends, George and May Dorsey and Roger and Dorothy Malcolm. In a secluded area known as Moores Ford. May was 7 months pregnant. Now, 73 years later, the discovery of more than 100 bullet shells and casings found at the site by CBS 46 crime scene investigator Cheryl McCullum and her team could finally link the killers to the crime and bring long-awaited closure.
Hold on, I just want to let you all know, shout out to my professor. They just said my professor was involved in this. I didn't even know that, Cheryl McCullum. Okay, that was my criminal justice professor when I was in college. But let's continue.
For the victims' families.
All they want is a slither of justice. They're not looking for a trial. They know they're not going to get.
The white lady speaking with the glasses, that's my former professor. But let's continue. That's her.
They're not looking for an apology. They know they're not going to get it.
In 1946, Roger Malcolm is jailed for stabbing a white farmer he suspected of fooling around with his wife, Dorothy. Days after his arrest, his boss, Loy Harrison, drives Dorothy, along with George and May Dorsey, to bail Roger out. Harrison takes the long way home that day. And as they neared Moores Ford Bridge, the car is blocked by a mob of 20 armed white men who drag them from the car, tie them up, and shoot each of them more than 100 times.
Miss Dorsey and meet them at the bridge.
Mac has worked in criminal justice for nearly 40 years, but it's the cold cases that haunt her most, which is why she spent the last 20 years solving unanswered truths.
There's a lot here. There's a lot of evidence here. There's a lot of history here.
It's unclear if this new evidence has even been tested or reviewed for leads. The FBI closed the case last year and refuses to answer our questions.
Well, then damn it, go do your job. That's all we're asking. Simple, easy. Can we test it? Is there anything that can be done now that wasn't done?
The FBI's initial investigation in 1946 identified possible suspects, but no one was charged. In 2007, the FBI revisited the site in Walton County and found little physical evidence. Mack and her team, including Atlanta prosecutor Holly Hughes, visited the site 3 years later and did some digging of their own.
Within 45 minutes, we had our first bullet. After the first day, we had about 30.
Eventually, they collected and turned over more than 100 bullets and casings to the FBI.
That tells you nobody looked in the first place, right?
Right.
That's a pretty obvious conclusion you can draw. And so how hard were they trying to solve it?
So is it possible to solve this crime?
Is it a long shot? Yep. Yes. But dadgummit, it's a shot.
Here's what we know. Shotgun shells went from cardboard to plastic in 1960, which means the shells Mack's team found at the scene, encased in cardboard, were made before 1960. People are gone. They're dead.
Right.
But how do we close this case?
You take that shell casing and you cross-check it against a shell casing from one of the weapons, and you see if you can't match it up. And then you go back to that family and say, hey, you know what? You gave us this. It does match up. What story do you know?
CBS 46 is offering a reward to anyone who turns in a gun they believe may have been used in the lynchings. You can turn the guns in to any police station for testing and send a signed letter of proof to CSI Atlanta at CBS 46.
They said there's one living witness. Well, they're probably dead by now. And then, honey, who's going to turn in a gun 73 years later? Okay, honey, please. They're not. And everybody already knew who did it. Everyone already knew who did it, okay, at the end of the day. And this just ticks me off because when they know who commit these crimes and then still nothing is done about it, that is just really so distressing. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, now I'm going to let y'all be messy for a second before we leave out of here. Oh, and by the way, let me just tell you all. That was not a real passport for Pam Bondi. Okay, that was AI. But we still know who her and Trump's allegiance is to, period. Okay, sitting up there telling all those lies. All right, so now let's go to Glorilla, because you all remember when Glorilla's sister was talking all that trash about her and begging for money at the same time. So Glorilla came out and responded. Okay, so let's get into it.
I ain't gonna talk about how you got me sent to jail for a whole week. We ain't gonna talk about that. How you tried to shoot me and set me up and you got me sent to jail. We ain't gonna talk about none of that. All right? I ain't gonna talk about half the stuff you did. Just leave it alone. You doing you right now. Keep doing you. Keep my family out of it. Keep me out of it. You see, you at where you at all because you said my name. You could have been saying my name, Ahmadiyyah positive. You went about the wrong way, y'all, and now you'll never get a penny out of me. And y'all saying other people, the ones y'all got y'all input to put on it, y'all ain't never been. I mean, my whole life, even before I was rich, I always been the one that never asked for shit. I always been the one to do shit for motherfuckers. So y'all, the ones that feel where she coming from, y'all don't know shit because y'all ain't never been the ones to have shit. Like, I ain't fuck, like, my people I fuck with, they straight. My mama, she straight. Let me call my dad. Hold on. Y'all know how my dad look already. I can FaceTime him. Y'all swear everything I post be fake. I post fake screenshots, baby. The proof is in the pudding. And I hate that I'm getting her explain to y'all because I don't owe.
Her sister is a whole hater, sitting up there talking about she has to leave the club in a Malibu. Girl, at least you have a car. Do you think that she's supposed to buy you a Mercedes Benz or something? Honey, it's the nerve of people. It is the absolute nerve of people.
She sent my mama $1,300. Baby, you owe her $1,200 already. Huh? What's up, mom?
Hello?
Yeah, mom. Toya said she sent you $1,300 today. How much money did she owe you already? Did she borrow?
Latoya owed me $1,200.
She already owed you $1,200, right? That she be borrowing every chance she get, right?
Right.
She should have gave you double that. Since she getting this little money to go spread lies, she could have gave you double that, right?
Right.
We ain't gonna disclose what I give you in exact dollar amount. But what happened every month, Mom? What happens every month since I've been famous?
You pay my rent, and I know a lot of people were talking about you buying me a house. I didn't want you to buy me a house. I didn't want to buy a house at this age.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I didn't want at my age. I wanted to rent because you were having me travel all over the place. So, I wanted to rent, so I could pick up and leave as I wanted to.
Did I get you put in another house if it's rent or bought, whichever one it was that you wanted to do?
Yes, and let me tell you this. She bought me a car that I've always wanted. She promised me when she was 7 years old that she was gonna get that car when I couldn't get it. And she sent it to me last year.
The Woods family ain't none of y'all goddamn business. That's my business. All them my children.
She put them in the business though, Dad, so you can't get mad at them for talking what they talk because she got on there and put them in that lying ass business.
Listen, baby, I don't get on there because I done dated all y'all my children. Victoria needs her. She know better. Friends of our family being whatever happened in the Woods family, good or bad, that ain't none of y'all concerned. I'm the dad. I love all my children, but I do not appreciate what Victoria's doing to my family name. I really don't. She ain't got no business. Whatever disagreement,
Daddy.
her sister and her mama.
F her. Daddy, I don't want you to say all this. We know she's wrong. Blase. Tell them how I treat you. Tell the world how I treat you.
Man, look, you have been outstanding. I could never pay you back for all the shit. I don't know count.
You know, Dad, that's all that matters. You and my mama taking care of. And she talking about.
Now, let me tell you all something. I find it all interesting. Reggie said, not 7-year-old promises. But listen, you can tell Glorilla is so young because how old is she? Bless her little heart. Is she, 23? I think she's like 23 years old, right? And you can tell it's so obvious because this is so immature for her to get on here and entertain her foolish sister. I would have just ignored her, if anything. Or even if I responded, what I wouldn't have done is called up my mom and dad and had them verify and clarify what I do for them. Because, girl, you owe nobody on this internet, okay? You don't owe anyone on Kendrick Lamar's internet an explanation. But anyway, let's go to this neighbor who was being messy, talking about Carly B and Stephon Diggs. And then he was calling Cardi B Carly with an L. Just being so messy. And what does he even know about her and Stephon? Let's get into it.
Happened, Bobby?
She broke up with the football player.
Who?
Carly B.
Why?
He brought his baby mama to the game, and she went to the game. The Super Bowl. She left during the game.
Who did this?
Stephon Diggs. He's got 6 baby mamas.
Who's the girlfriend?
He's a rapper. Fuck you.
What's her name?
I don't know. Now I'm guessing. I don't know.
What is it?
She's Dominican from the Bronx.
What's her name, though? You just said it.
Carly B.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
You got the shade room on your phone. You got the shade room.
Bobby, why you being messy?
He's an idiot. You know what his teammate said?
What?
Who's the one player you won't have your sister date? And he said, Stephon Diggs. His teammate said that. He left it on my phone. That's fucked up.
What happened, Bobby?
She broke up with the football player.
Now, what is his behind doing gossiping? You know, sit down somewhere, honey. He's all in the business. And then talking about Carly B. I'm so done. Juju said he's not lying. Trisha said Carly B gonna sue your old arse. Okay. Claudette said all in the business. All right, so listen, beloveds, y'all know I will be back in the morning, and we're going to do another Black History story tomorrow evening. So make sure you tune in. Listen, beloveds, also, don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this night. I love you all to life. Okay, and so with that all being said, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got